Then within
Right.
3 to 4 years, then promoted to the product line director and moved to France. And in France, almost 3 years have been in France and almost handling various quality roles like product and quality director and project quality director and regional operations. So I would say my international experience, especially in France, so as a very great
Right.
instrumental in the life. So where the leading teams with Asia and Asia means all this part of Asia, India, China, and everything. Then
Right.
to Europe, almost all the part of Europe, and especially South America and Middle East countries.
Welcome to FaceTime with Leaders, a podcast by Directors Institute World Council of Directors. I'm your host, Priya George. And today we are joined by someone who's not just seen the evolution of global industry. Mr. Jawahar Periasamy is a globally seasoned executive with over 30 years of leadership across the automotive and oil and gas sectors, currently serving as managing director at a French-Indian joint venture. Known for his sharp execution and operational transformation, he scaled operations across 20 sites in 11 countries and delivered outcomes like 65% revenue growth, zero safety incidents, and 80% carbon dioxide reduction ahead of target. So, before we dive into the specifics, let's start at the very beginning, Jawahar. Could you walk us through your journey, the early steps? There must have been turning points, some moments, they could have even been mentors that really shaped your path. We'd love to hear it in your own words.
Yeah,
Please.
sure. Actually, born in 1975 and education as a mechanical engineer, and I started my professional path in the heart of Indian manufacturing industry and in Tamil Nadu. And I would say each chapter of my the industrial career experience would be very great challenge and great milestones and very great learnings as well. So the early foundation which I started from automotive industry in Chennai and start that career with a, quality role and in all the part of quality. Then stepping into the bigger shows into that industry where oil and gas. So totally it's
Hmm,
different from automotive industry. And
correct.
initially just enter into the oil and gas with very small, a little bit knowledge. Then upgraded as well. Then finally within 4 years, and I'll become one big project is more than 600 crore value. And during that time,
Wow.
I was project coordinator for this project. So I can able to do it within the very short span and getting into that more detail on the technical side and becoming a technical director. So then the scaling challenges further again back to the automotive industry, and it's all like a process industry, and many OEMs have a very great interaction with all of them. Then the turning point starts with my current employer. So here I just start my career in India. I mean this industry I just start from India. Then within three to
Right.
four years, then promoted to the product line director and moved to France. And in France, almost 3 years I've been in France and almost handling various quality roles like a product and quality director and project quality director and regional operations. And
Right.
finally, coming back here is again the same company. I've been the managing director and having this role for
Hmm,
5 years. So I would say my international experience, especially in France, so as a very great
right.
instrumental in the life. So where the leading teams with Asia and Asia means all this part of Asia, India, China, and everything. Then
Right.
to Europe, almost all the part of Europe, and especially South America and Middle East countries. So I learned to blend the
Ah.
Indian ingenuity with global standards of quality and ethics, of course, in the governance.
Right, right. Interesting. And thank you for sharing that with us. It must have been quite challenging when you talked about, blending Indian ingenuity, with global standards. So, and you've done so well. And clearly, as we progress in the interview, we learn more about it. moving on, taking something as entrenched as a 25-year-old industrial setup and reimagining it through Industry 4.0, that's not just a technical shift, that's cultural. What were some of the toughest walls you had to break through that transformation, and how did you get everyone to move forward along with you?
Sure. Actually, first, in the introduction, as you explained, is in JV with the French and the Indian partners. So, first, in the cultural and the strategic point of view, the strategic alignment with the joint ventures when in all the board meetings and the board approvals. So, even this cultural impact and which we take it into the operational strategy and making this type
Right,
of the legacy plant as a process industry and making this plant into the standards close to that industry 4.0. And first, this both partners strategic alignment which we have done it, of course, and they are supporting well. And coming to
right,
that, and we are taking it with the high quality and safety standards into that, because with this
right,
definitely we cannot achieve all this metrics and achievements. So, and
correct.
of course, and the latest technology what we have and manufacturing environment with online data and of course AI today, which is helping us a lot. And we are putting
Correct.
IoTs into that many machines, and I can able to visualize the machine on time results. So which makes that, and we have some investment on all those areas, and which makes that the industry and into that very close to the 4.0. But this
Correct.
4.2, and I would confirm that almost we had a 30% capacity increase, and
Mm,
the downtime being reduced more than 40%, and almost
mm,
50% of the non-quality cost being reduced, and productivity boost have been done more than 20%. So, which I believe this industry 4.0 is it, the way this is need of us today, and without
mm,
making any big miracle, and we can able to achieve our business results very casually.
mm,
Then
mm,
coming to this, the sustainability and manufacturing environment, and when we make it, of course, we are all committed towards that. So in
mm,
this part of Industry 4.0, where we are aligning all this online measurements into that, and we reduce the even water scarcity is there in the
mm.
entire world today. Even we took some specific
Correct.
measurement on the environment parameters like water reduction and use the renewable energy. When we are in the CO2 emission reduction, the project, of course, the renewable energy, green energy is most part of it, and which is helping us to achieve
Correct.
those indicators. So we moved that area, and finally we make this industry into the 4.0, which is resulting good in this
Mm,
current business scenario.
mm. All right. So I think it's really fascinating how you led that shift with such clarity. A question that came to my mind when you were responding is when you moved, across continents and you had to, kind of blend, like you talked about, Indian ingenuity with global standards in a foreign country. Uh, did you have to learn about the culture, because how different countries work, at during business transactions, there must be a lot of points that you need to take into consideration, like what are the language restrictions, or geopolitics, or it could even be just cultural references, how people greet each other, something as simple as that. When you first had an assignment and you had to move to France, did you do a little bit of research about the country's culture or something, just to get you started and create a relationship with your clients abroad?
Of course. So yes, I would say that this area really we had enjoy with family. I just not only I moved that area with my family as well. So where
Okay.
my 5 years daughter also moved with me. So the cultural
Okay.
impacts for everyone, because and the schools in France they don't speak English. So 100% in
Mm.
French. Where the part I was there
Wow.
initially, it is in Limoges, almost in the south part of France. So they don't speak
Oh,
more English, and wherever we go, the French, of course, and we also a little bit know some words where I have to speak that French people. I don't know French. I just communicate to them in French. I don't know French. Speak in English. So such a way we manage such a situations out of it in that area. In office, I would say this is in the out of office and the societal area where the office. all the countries, all we are all working with one common goal, that is business growth. And
Correct.
so with this common goals is very clear, and the language is not being part of a very big barrier between us. So everyone understand
Okay.
the business language. So business language
Correct.
doesn't have any different language, right? It's only one language.
Correct. It's a common ground for
Common,
everyone.
of course.
Right. Right. Interesting. Interesting. Thank you for sharing that with us. Now, when we speak of scale, and scale, which means convincing stakeholders across cultures, risk profiles, boardrooms, when you're standing there making a pitch, what do you believe truly makes a cross-border business case not just sound logical, but you have to land that pitch with conviction? So what do you think makes, a strong cross-border business case?
I would say it starts from the root the case in a shared vision. So the shared vision, of course, is very important between this cross-border business case. And I would say because we have the synergy to making the business expansions. So the business
Hmm.
expansions which we had in the site, particularly even in this current profile, I would say, almost this business
Yes.
growth we had 65 percentage business growth within 2 to 3 years. So that growth within this shared vision and aligning to the people is not possible. So, of course, in the common ESG goals which we have, this is a common
Right.
the shared vision. Not only the globally, this is an important point to everyone. So we are all this shared vision. We are aligned. So finally, I don't say that in this business, this is not just a cosplay, and it's a sustainability accelerated for both of them, both sides. So that way, just we move, and of course, on the operation side, when we are improving, we are taking some business from, I mean, the different countries and moved here. We are operating this business over here, and we are not thinking that just we are moving the business. So we elevate them.
Right.
Even we use that the Indian cost competitiveness into the French technologies. So French technologies
Hmm.
age which we are using it for Indian cost competitiveness, and our business had a very big growth. So then I would say the point is maybe that related to the leadership fluency. So the gaps a little bit leadership fluency, and where I just handled with all the sides towards that. But I used to say to the people, my team members, we don't just align with the KPIs. Please, my dear friends, don't believe that. We align hearts and minds across time zone. So be
Hmm.
aligned with me, hearts and minds across the time zone. Then automatically we
Interesting.
will be able to just align the KPIs. So this KPI alignment, the direction I can give it, but without you align with heart and minds, and it is very difficult.
Correct.
So finally, my team has a wonderful job across the world, and we have done a very excellent the business objectives, and we set some milestones on it.
Hmm. That's really interesting, and it's impressive how you manage to bridge that gap, with strategy, with expectations, but also with trust and adding value. So I think that goes a long way in building relationships and having a common vision and goal. So I think it also, and I can imagine that it plays a huge role in how you assess risk as well. So, with your depth in compliance, crisis navigation, I'm curious, what are some of those, very subtle early signs that leaders often miss before any kind of disruption strikes? So, the kind that only experience really teaches you to catch. So, if you could just shed some light on those.
First, on the leadership side, I would say the behavioral shifts in the key stakeholders. So when I say
Ah,
the behavioral shifts on the key stakeholders, and it's starts from the JV partners and the customers and all the internal leaderships, and when they change a little bit hesitation and change in tone,
hmm, hmm, hmm.
and of course they reduce the engagement and towards that objectives, towards that meeting.
Understood.
So that we need to observe very clearly and make sure that on the strategic alignment at first. Then, of course, the abnormality in quality and safety metrics, when automatically the near misses are increasing in the site, is an indirect sign to that you will have a safety incident in the site, as well as the quality. When everything is within the control limit, when the rewards are increased, automatically there will be a chance to getting the customer compliant. as well. So such a way which we need to smell it. And another important thing, the increased turnover in the specific roles. So especially the technical role and mid-level managers, and when the attrition rate is very high, so it's an indirect
Ah,
message to us. We need to take a different path on the cultural shift or the leadership shift. So that point we need to
mm,
be very careful on it. And some
mm,
of the things, the external things, I would say from the supplier and the logistics side. When of course,
mm,
in after this COVID, I would say all the suppliers, their approach and mindset is a little bit shifted from the before COVID and after COVID. So when the
mm,
disturbance on the safety and sorry and the quality as well on the
mm,
deliveries and the cost areas, so that is also symptoms for us which we need to address it immediately, and
mm.
otherwise this will have a big impact on one time. So then
Yeah.
finally, and I mean, we appointed many audited system over here in this company. When the auditors comes out, auditor says that I don't have such a observation in the past, but this year I have
Okay.
this observation. When auditors explain to you, it is a very important point which you need to take it in the mind and to align with the people, to align with the team, and team has to
Mm,
realign for this point. Then the last point, I would say the maybe the environmental and the regulatory shifts. Of course, this is in
mm,
outside forums. You need to keep on watch on that area, and
mm.
regulatory shifts. Anything will happen. Unless otherwise you keep on watch, it's very difficult to. I mean, find out one time, then correct.
Mm.
From that time, it will take more cost and the time as well.
Okay. Okay. So I think there's some very insightful pointers that you gave there, and it's something that only someone who comes with a lot of experience can detect those changes and then, curb or control or carry out any kind of reformative action. So thank you for sharing that with us. And Jawahar, hearing about the scale, the depth of your work, it's clear that you've already made an extraordinary impact. But if you look ahead for you, what's the next chapter look like, on a personal and a professional level? Are there any boardroom ambitions that you're leaning into? Is there any larger vision you're shaping that still drive you? Are there any mentorship roles that you're looking forward? So we are keen to know what's on your mind.
Yeah, sure. Actually, as I just looking for the future, and my ambition is to transition from the operational leadership and into the strategic influence at the board level. So still,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm doing it, and looking for some future for strategic influence at the board level. And of course, what I believe, all my experience, the past experience and the value additions which I had across the world, but definitely
Right,
significantly contribute to the board governance and the
right.
corporate strategy as well. So then, I just not to be only part of this boardroom ambitions as well, and I'm deeply committed to driving the industrial performance, even particularly the sustainability and the industry
Mm,
4.0 shifting and integration from that, and ethical governance, and which is across the globe, across international business when we work from here, and the ethical governance, which is important factor which we need to consider. So
mm,
finally, to answer your question, just my passion now to shape the future-ready industry to align the performance with purpose, and that's I wanted to give it to the future leaders, and
mm,
be the champions for the ESG directors,
mm,
and
mm.
of course, and there at the future business as a legacy which I wanted to create it not just for the business itself, and this is a societal impact.
Right. I think that's really inspiring to hear. And you did talk about sustainability, which is a great segue to our next question. Now, given how deeply you've integrated sustainability into operational strategy, from cutting carbon dioxide emissions to redefining compliance benchmarks, ESG for you clearly isn't just a checklist. It is something, it's a principle that you believe in. So, in your view, has ESG become non-negotiable in today's leadership playbook? And how do you see ESG evolving as a core part of business strategy, not just reporting?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I feel that the ESG is not just like the today's leadership's playbook. It's a defensive playbook. This is the expectations for all the stakeholders today. So coming
Hmm.
to customers, the investors, governance,
Hmm.
and of course the leaders and everyone. And
Hmm.
what I'm trying to say, this ESG methodology, this is not for the operational excellence, and this is a strategy which you can get the competitive edge from the market as well in the talent acquisition
Hmm.
area, where the customer loyalty as well, which is very most important over here.
Hmm.
So this ESG, I'm not looking, as you said, the ESG, I'm not looking only the point of that reporting parameter and have a
Correct.
look on the strategic look on the environmental
Correct.
sustainability, governance and the compliance, governance and the compliance where always I would say to my team, when the talks comes to the governance and the compliance, that should be 100%. So almost close to
Hmm.
100%. And don't go for 40%, 60%, 80%. No, no, no. That should be 100%. This is the global
Hmm.
expectations today. Then the social impact and where the current company where we are working, there almost people more than close to 500 people, and with the high engagement rating, there is employment satisfaction survey. They are saying that more than 90% employment engagement towards that. So even
Hmm.
the societal impact which we have created, finally
Hmm.
this is my conclusion overall. This one ESG is not part of playbook, is defense playbook.
Hmm. Hmm. So, thank you for sharing that. I think, like you mentioned, ESG shouldn't just be part of, like, a compliance or a checklist or worrying about during reporting or audit process. I think it should be inculcated as the culture and made the very fabric of an organization. And clearly, you've lived that and you continue to do so. As we near the end of the interview, Jawahar, it's great to have you part of the Directors Institute family. And since you've recently joined, how has the experience been for you so far?
First of all, thank you, and it's truly an honor to be part of this Directors Institute family. And the experience so far, it's inspiring, no doubt. And coming with this background, and I align with this team, highly professional, committed team, and I'm sure that I can able to travel towards excellence through the governance and the leadership.
Right. So we are really glad that your experience at Directors Institute has been a positive one, and we are really excited to have you on this journey with us. And we wish you nothing but continued success. So Jawahar, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on FaceTime with Leaders with us. You've shared insights. You've been so inspiring that and insights that go beyond strategy, which are real lessons in leadership, transformation, and staying grounded through it all. So, Mr. Jawahar Periasamy, thank you so much again for joining us on FaceTime with Leaders and answering our questions.
Thank you, Priya, and thanks to the team. Thank you.
Uh, and we are grateful for your time, your honesty, Jawahar. To our audience, thank you so much for tuning in. This has been FaceTime with Leaders brought to you by Directors Institute. I'm your host, Priya George. Until next time, keep learning, keep leading with purpose. Thank you and take care.